Hello everyone and welcome back to Crack Keys once again, and in today's video we are going to look upon the fourth part of our history chapter number 1 last night mathematics. So let's get started. Did women have a revolution? So let's study if they had or not. So from the very beginning, women were active participants in the events which brought about so many important changes in French society. They hoped that the involvement would pressurize the revolutionary government to introduce measures to improve their lives. So, from the very beginning, the women were the active participants uh, in the events which are going on in the France, and they were doing many important changes about it, so that their lives can also be in a good manner. They were proposing things and front of the revolutionary government to introduce measures to improve their lives. So the most women of the third estate had to work for a living. So third estate women had to work for a living. They worked as seamstresses or laundresses, sold flowers and fruits and vegetables at the market. All were deployed as our domestic servant in the house of prosperous people and educated people. Most women did not have access to education or job training, so they didn't have any access to education or job training. Only daughters from the nobles or wealthier members of the third estate could study at a convent. Yeah. After which their families arranged a marriage for them. Working women had also to care for their families, that is, cook, fetch water, weave for the bed, and look after the children. The wages were lower than those of men. In order to discuss and voice their interests, women started their own political clubs and newspapers. About 60 women's clubs came up in different French societies. Society of Revolutionary and Republican Women was the most famous system. The society, so one of the society was Revolutionary and Republican movement was the most famous at that time, and one of their most demand was that women should enjoy the same political rights as men are enjoying. So they were very disappointed through that constitution of 1791 that reduced them to the passive citizens. So they also demanded that they should also be given the right to vote, and that to and that they can also be elected to the assembly and hold a political office, and only then they felt they would their interest be represented in the new government. In the early years, the revolutionary government did introduce laws that helped improve the lives of women. Together with the creation of state schools, schooling was made compulsory for all girls. Yeah, so here they are saying that revolutionary government did some changes, but those changes were not enough for the women. They made the state schools and schooling was compulsory for all girls. Their fathers could no longer force them to marry against their will, and marriage was made into a contract, entered into freely and registered under civil law. Divorce was made legal and could be applied for by both women and men. Women can now train for jobs. Yeah, that was also given by the revolutionary government. Become artists or run small businesses. Women's struggle for equal political rights, however, continued during the Reign of Terror. So the struggle for equal political rights, which was there in the Reign of Terror, the new government issued laws ordering closure of women clubs and banning their political activity. This Reign of Terror government banned their political activities and ordered to close the women's club. Many prominent women were arrested and a number of them executed. Means many prominent women who were making the who was making the confidence in the women who are not that much prominent was arrested, and they were killed also. Executed here means killed or dead. Women's movement for voting rights and equal wages continued to the next 200 years. So they struggled for 200 years in many countries of the world. The fight over the vote was carried out through an international suffrage movement during the late 19th and early 20th century. So in the most of the countries in the world, got this women got these voting rights in late 19th or early 20th centuries only. So the examples of the political activities of French women during the revolutionary years was kept alive as an inspiring memory. So they were kept alive as an inspiring memory during the revolutionary years. And it was finally in 1946 that women bombed in France on the right vote. 1 year before the India got then France. Okay. Women, as you can see this picture, women are going up at the bakery and they are doing so much things for their protection. So I guess that's all about this in this part, and this was a very small part, and it ended up in I think only 10 minutes or 5 minutes. I don't know, but this was a nice part, and it told us about how the women struggled and how they get this what you call are their freedom rights and other things, and they made they made us realize that uh, the women of that time had to struggle a lot. Okay, so this is thoughts and things, and I end this video over here. And now I will meet you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye, guys. See you soon.